I made it 6 weeks postpartum. This week has really felt like a bit of a milestone week. I don't know if that's because 6 weeks is when you get your first set of vaccinations, or it's also when we saw our obstetrician again since the birth, but it's just felt like a little bit of a milestone to get to 6 weeks. I can't believe that we're already here, to be honest. We're actually 7 weeks tomorrow, so we have completed the 6 week, hey? I just feel like he's growing so quickly. He actually got weighed and measured by his pediatrician yesterday. He's officially made it to 4 kilos, 4.06 kilos and 54 centimeters long. That makes him on the 5th percentile for height for his age. And I don't even think he's on a percentile for weight, to be honest, but his head is measuring 37 centimeters. So that's on the 25th percentile. So not bad. We also had his vaccinations this week, which I was a little bit nervous about, to be honest, but he was an absolute trooper. I didn't really mind the injections. It was more like the shock of it. It seemed to settle pretty quickly afterwards. I was a little bit like out of sorts a few days after. All in all, it went really well. The worst part for me actually was taking the band-aids off. I didn't expect that to be as traumatic as it was. I took the first one off and I couldn't bring myself to take the second one off. So when we saw the pediatrician, I actually got her to take it off. He didn't seem to care as much at all when she took it off, but we are going to get a blood test just to check his jaundice because he is still a little bit yellow. We do think it's breastfeeding jaundice. It definitely goes in waves, which is consistent with breastfeeding jaundice. We're just going to get some blood tests just to confirm. The other thing that we're just going to check at the end of this month is we're going to get him a hip ultrasound. He has little legs. He's always had little legs. Like even when he was in my tummy, his femur was always measuring the shortest. I noticed that he's got little creases on his legs that don't line up. So we're just going to go get a hip ultrasound in a couple of weeks just to make sure that everything's okay there. I know, sweetheart. And we got to see our OB again, didn't we? You slept through the whole thing. It was so lovely to see him again. I can't believe that we're not going to have our weekly appointments anymore. I told him that I'm going to have 8 more babies, which Xander does not approve of. Can you not when they're just this cute? We are very, 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 very close to getting a smile. You can definitely see those twinkles when he looks at me, and we are definitely getting smiles. I just don't think we've made the connection between looking and smiling. So we are definitely getting like little gassy smiles in his sleep. Proper smile is just around the corner. He's definitely gotten better with his wind. Speaking to our pediatrician, she kind of mentioned that 6 weeks is the peak, and then it definitely starts to get better from that point as their digestion and everything matures. So we're over the worst of it. So that's exciting that he can just feel a little bit more comfortable. He's been so much more alert. So we've been enjoying a little bit more floor time and play time, hey? The first like 6 weeks, we've been mostly just like taking his cues, leaning into what he wants to do in terms of sleeping and feeding. Definitely here's a smile, yes. We're definitely trying to implement a few things to try and teach him the difference between daytime and nighttime. He's usually really good overnight, but little things like shorter naps during the day, more frequent feeding during the day, so then he has those longer stretches at night, and so far so good. Hi cutie. Still mostly just turning his head to the left side, so we have turned his bassinet around to try and make sure that everything that's happening means he would have to turn his head to the right. We've been doing lots of stimulation to try and help him turn his head to the right, trying to release those neck muscles as much as possible. But you're also getting stronger, aren't you? He's so much stronger in his neck, lifting his head, so that's amazing. Good job. Good job. We had Orma come and visit this week. That was a lot of fun. What else happened this week? Mummy shared her birth story. That was super exciting. I got to speak with Sophie from Australian Birth Stories and share, I guess, the journey it took to get this little man, hey? But also spoke about, you know, the birth and my C-section in a little bit more detail, what happened in recovery. That was pretty special actually, because it ended up being episode 555, which for anyone that has been following has kind of become our angel number. He was born on the 15th of the 5th, 25 at 15:25, share my birth story, and that just so happens to be episode 555. There's just so many fives surrounding this little guy. Little updates is I started driving again, which honestly felt so weird after 6 weeks of no driving. I have officially started putting silicone on my C-section scar, so I've been doing a little bit of research into that. There are a lot of things that are post 6 weeks that really do feel like a bit of a milestone, hey? But we've only got 2 more weeks left of newborn stage. I can't believe it. My little munchkin, boy. He just looks up at me with his big blue eyes. My heart just melts, doesn't it? I think you're so beautiful. Fart in there? Have you got a fart in there? Yeah. Mummy loves you. Mummy loves you. Are you gonna give me a smile? Are you gonna give me a smile? Not yet, Mum. Not yet, Mum.